Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Amy Howard, and I am here with you today with the Maker Studio. A lot of you may be watching this for the first time, either on Instagram or on Facebook, and you're wondering, what is a Maker Studio? It is a sister company of mine that is focused on, one, mentoring other people like yourself to be able to own their own business and to be able to have workshops, have community, and to be able to craft a beautiful life together. So because a Maker Studio is geared more towards making things and our stencils and everything that would do with the home as far as making it more beautiful and having experiences with your friends, because I have been a furniture refinisher for many, many years, we included a small section of a Maker Studio products to be able to paint a piece of furniture and rescue it. Because I'm very adamant with the fact that we throw away 28 million tons of furniture in this country every year. We need to be more proactive in rescuing and restoring those pieces of furniture and saving them instead of putting them into landfills. So this morning, I'm going to be showing you how to use these products on a piece of furniture. The exciting thing is that we have a promotional going right now that everything that is in this kit that you can purchase with a Maker Studio is only $58. Guys, this is unprecedented. This is an incredible, incredible value. So if you've ever thought about rescuing and restoring a piece of furniture, now is your time. All right, so let me walk you through, first of all, what comes in the kit and what it does, and then why you've got to have this. Because we want you to become, one, acquainted with the Maker Studio. We want you to see the products, how easy they are to use, and how fun they can be. So one of the first things you're going to get in this kit is going to be our 2-inch specialty wedge brush. Now, I'm just going to tell you, your projects are only as good as the tools that you use. This is a 2-inch wedge brush that has a microfiber bristle in it that will lay the paint down beautifully, and you're never going to want to use any other tool, I'm telling you, after you've used this brush. All right, so the next thing you're going to have in the kit is going to be your Rescue Restore paint. If we had smell-o-vision, I'd open this up and you would say, oh my gosh, that smells amazing. This is a chalky based paint. It does have essential oils in it, so it smells amazing, and it does have incredible coverage. This is one of our beautiful colors. It's called a Southern Gentleman. So you want to make sure that you can choose your own color in your kit. You don't have to get Southern Gentleman if you don't want to, but it's one of our most popular colors. The next thing you're going to see is you're going to be getting a furniture cleaner. You always want to clean your furniture, which I'll talk about that in just a minute. So that's included in that as well. You can very easily use this size on 2 or 3 different pieces of furniture. It'll go a long, long way. Then you're also going to get a light antique wax and a dark antique wax. And then you're going to get 2 brushes. These are going to be used for your your waxes. This is the brush that you're going to be using for your paint. You'll never use that brush for wax, only for paint. All right, so let's just go over some basics. I will tell you, we have a lot of makers that are going to be sharing this video with you, and they are the experts. They're the ones that are going to be walking you through this whole process of how you could rescue and restore a piece of furniture. What might even be more fun is, what if you get together with several friends and you all get your kits and you paint your piece of furniture together? We need community. We are made for community, and we are on our phones so much and on our computers. It's great to be able to press pause on life just a little while and get together and visit with people and have fun and definitely paint a piece of furniture. So the first thing you want to do, this is a little drawer out of a sweet little end table that we have over here. You want to take your hardware off first. So most of the hardware is there's going to be the little screws in the back, as I did this right before we went live. And you're just going to take whether a Phillips or a flathead screwdriver, and I just took off my screws, and that will allow the hardware to fall off the front. You want to make sure that you put your screws and your hardware in a little baggie, because otherwise if you don't, you're going to lose them. I do that all the time. I'll set it aside and then I can't find the screw that's going to fit this hardware. But you'll notice you won't see the screws from the front. This is actually a bracket in the back that fits into. Sometimes a screw will go through the front, maybe you have an escutcheon, but this one was really pretty. This is solid brass, so I would definitely keep this. I'll clean it up just a little bit with my furniture cleaner, and I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna paint it, it's too sweet. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't really want to paint wood. Well, then you wouldn't want to. There's other products that you can use that you can come back and you don't have to paint it. But on this particular piece, it's fun to be able to give it a new life, and a painted piece of furniture can look really wonderful in a room. It adds a lot of texture. So I'm going to take my furniture cleaner. This should be the very first thing you should do after you take your hardware off. And you want to be able to have a lint-free rag, and what I'll do is I'll normally lay it down into a lint-free rag like this for count to about 5 or 6 seconds. And I'm going to set that aside. Now, this does have a little bit of an odor to it because it will clean off petroleum-based products, meaning wax. It'll take wax off of here, and it will get a lot of the residue of the dirt and the grime that you're going to see on a piece of furniture. You may look at that and say, wow, that looks pretty clean. There is so much residue from the years of products that have been used on these pieces of furniture that you don't realize how dirty they are. A lot of times it was liquid gold, and it would leave a greasy residue. It's really important that you use my cleaner, because my cleaner, it took me 1.5 years to, wow, that's really dirty. That's a lot of dirt off of that little drawer. I spent 1.5 years developing this product. So that way I knew that a lot of people, they were using degreasers and things, and even oily degreasers, and it was not getting all the residue off of it. So depending on how bad it is, you want to make sure that you clean it really well and dry it. All right, so now I'm ready to paint. A lot of people say, okay, wait a minute. If this is a water-based paint, how can you use it directly on something that has a furniture factory lacquer finish on it? That's the secret to my patent on my paint. It's water-based. It has no VOCs, meaning there are no volatile chemical compositions in it. It's certifiable green, so you can very easily paint this on a baby bed. So if you want to be able to rescue and restore your baby bed and give it to somebody as a gift, or maybe a high chair or whatever, feel free and know that it's very safe to be able to use in a child's room. All right, so you want to make sure you shake it up a little bit. Sometimes in the shipping, being in the warehouse, it might settle. Make sure you shake it up just a little bit, and or you might even have a stir stick or something that you could stir it. And then I'm going to take this beautiful, beautiful wedge brush. Now, you want to make sure as you're loading this up that you're going to dip it down into the paint, stir it up, agitate it just a little bit. Make sure that the brush is loaded, and then you want to make sure to offload it. So I'm going to offload it on both sides like this. But because this is a microfiber paint, this is holding quite a bit of paint in this brush. So again, you will load it up. Make sure you agitate it where it's nice and loaded up. It's heavy in the middle of the brush. Offload the outsides. That way, you should be able to go from the container over to the piece that you're painting on without dripping. Don't be dripping. And I apologize to the guys if there's men watching this, but I tell my ladies, think of it as brushing your, how you use nail polish on your nails. Load up enough paint to be able to paint the area where, like I'm painting this drawer, so you can go boom, boom, and you're done. You don't want to keep brushing and brushing and brushing. Once you lay that brush down, you want to try to go all the way, as much as you can, across the piece. So I'm going to probably need a couple of passes on this, and you'll notice I'll paint with the grain. So I'm going to start on the top here, and I'm going to go as far as I can, and then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to flip my brush over like this, and then I'm going to continue on down the side like that. All right, now I've got a little edge here. I'm going to load my paint back up. Now, if we're live, do we want to try to take questions? Do we have questions?
Rita bought a vintage writing desk, but some of the veneer is missing. What should she do?
Yeah, is that Rita?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you've got veneer missing, You can come back with a product called Bondo, and you can put Bondo on top of it and spread it out. It's a smelly project, but you don't have to go back in and repair the veneer. So I would just put some Bondo on it, make sure it's nice and smooth, and then come back with some sandpaper, and then you're ready to paint. All right, so look at the other thing that you'll notice. Look at the coverage, isn't it great? Now the other thing that you need to notice is that I am painting into a wet edge. You always want to paint into a wet edge. You don't want it to dry, so you want to work fairly quickly. But you'll notice I did very few passes on that. It was like boom, 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 done. Don't keep laying your brush down. The more times you lay your brush down and you stop, you have a line mark. And then you'll lay it down again and you'll have another line mark. You need to have long, clean strokes on your piece that you're working on, and then that way it's going to be very easy to have a beautiful look when you're finished. So I'm going to come back. Now, as a rule, I did a no-no before I got started. I would put a piece of tape here and protect this side. I think it's pretty to have the sides. A lot of times we'll take our stencils if you want to paint the sides. I should have thought about that. You could come back and paint the side if you wanted to, and then take one of our stencils in a Maker Studio and then do a pattern on the side. That's a really sweet surprise. I could do a French script. I could even do a stencil inside the drawer. That would be awesome. So I'm going to set that aside, and then I want to be able to show you. Now, when I'm working with the paint, remember the Rescue Restore paint is water-based. It has no VOCs, no volatile chemical compositions, and I can just clean it with water. So if you get it on your clothes, you want to make sure that you get the furniture cleaner very quickly on a rag and try to wipe it off, because you can use the Rescue Restore paint on fabric. You can thin it about 20% and actually paint upholstery with it. That's a whole other workshop, but just know that you want to be careful not to get it in your clothes. But as far as working with this brush and cleaning it out, you want to make sure that you take very good care of it. This is a beautiful tool that will be good to you, and it'll last a long, long time. Make sure you clean it out really well. I usually do baths, so I'll put a bath like this and then put it under the sink after I've put it off in my container like this, and then make sure it's nice and clean, and then put it back in the wrapper. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we want to just be able to go over your waxes. So you have 2 waxes and you have 2 brushes. That will come in this kit. Guys, if you're just now tuning in and you don't know about what we're talking about, we have a special this week, and you'll be seeing this particular ad on Instagram, on Facebook, and there are makers that this is part of their business. Part of why I started a Maker Studio was to help other people that wanted to be creative and wanted to be entrepreneurs, and they will show you how to be able to use this kit. But for only $58, just for 4 days this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we are going to have where it comes with all these supplies that you are seeing. Okay, so the first thing you're going to be using is light antique wax. This is basically a clear wax. It allows you to be able to use it on a lot of different furniture finishes. You can use this on stained pieces as well. It does not have to be painted. And then you're going to be able to use this on top of your paint. And then we've also included some dark antiquing wax. This dark antiquing wax, you're going to use a totally separate brush, and it's what's going to allow you to be able to add some antiquing. So let me show you. I've got a piece of cabinet. Just put my fingers on my cabinet door. Let me wipe that off. I use the furniture cleaner just to get that off my hands. All right. That's why I use an apron, because I do this a lot. I get my fingers into stuff, and I like being able to have an apron I can just wipe my hands on. Send me some love. If you are watching, you're just now starting to get tuned in with a Maker Studio, and you love making things with your hands, we're all about it. We're all about crafting a beautiful life. I'm going to start bringing you to my house. We've got several different special holidays coming up, like Easter. We have a big blowout Easter egg hunt at our house. If you live in the Memphis area, you're more than welcome to come and hang out with us. The more kids, the merrier. But I love being able to take you on this journey of making beautiful things to enjoy, to give as gifts, to be able to get together with friends. And painting furniture is no different. So, all right, so this is our light antique wax. It does have carnauba wax in it as well as beeswax. Now, a lot of times you may just need to shake it up just a little bit because it might have a tendency to separate. And there'll be a little area in here that you'll need, a tab that you'll need to take off. So that way when you squeeze it, the wax is actually going to come out of the bottle.
Lots of love and hearts.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Thumbs up, kisses.
I want to be able to do these Maker Mondays. So if you're wondering, like, what is this? Does she do it every Monday? I do it every Monday. We do different projects and things that will make your home more beautiful, and things that you can use and use your hands to be able to make, because I love making things.
Lots of hearts, 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 hearts.
All right, guys, so you've got 2 brushes. I would like for you to take a Sharpie, and I want you to write light antique wax on this one, and take the Sharpie and write dark antique wax on this one. When you use this wax, you're going to clean them, not with water like we did our brush. You're going to clean them with this cleaner. Just take a little bit of this, maybe in a rag and a little cup, and that's what's going to get the wax out of the brush so you can use it again and again. All right, so you're going to load up your brush with the wax like this, and then offload it. Take a little piece of cardboard. I'll offload it just a little bit on the back. As a rule, 80% of the time, most people use way too much wax. Doesn't take much. Now, you can come back over your piece like this, nice and smooth, and make sure that it's a nice, even application. Here's the deal. You don't have to use wax on the Rescue Restore paint. It's an option. But waxing gives it a beautiful patina that you can come back and you can antique it. So, I have already done this piece prior to us going live, and it has some wax on it. And because I wanted to be able to show you how to do the light antique wax. So I could stop right here. I could allow this wax to dry 30 minutes to an hour, or however long you want. And then you can come back with a lint-free rag and just buff it, and it's going to have this gorgeous, gorgeous sheen to it. Or if you want to antique it and you want to add a little bit of depth, then we're going to go and we're going to add the dark antique wax. All right, so I'm going to squirt.
Letitia says she feels more positive that she can rescue and restore her pieces.
Letitia, you should totally do this. There's nothing more empowering and more fun. And if you're nervous, get together with some friends. Let me take this top off. I think we've used this a little bit. I need some of this solid wax to come out. There you go. All right. So be careful with your clothes. I don't want you to get this dark wax on your clothes. Take a little bit of it. Load up your brush. Always, I'm going to take an extra piece of cardboard over here. Always offload it. The other mistake a lot of people make is they use way too much dark wax. This small container of dark wax is going to last you a long, long time. So make sure you offload it with there's very little on there. You do have to get it saturated first. I know it seems a little bit like a waste.
Do you have to buff the clear before?
No, great question. You do not have to buff before. I just was wanting you to see that if you want to, you can stop at that point. You don't have to add the dark wax, but I do want you to see what the dark wax does. All right, so very lightly, I'm gonna put my glasses on for this. I want to see what I'm doing. Now, guys, the whole reason for dark wax is to be able to just kind of show maybe where some aging was. So I'm just gonna barely, like butterfly kisses, I'm just gonna come on top. Look how my hand will turn like this. Can you see that? Is that showing up on camera? Isn't that fun? Totally, look how totally different. Can you see how totally different adding the dark wax is from this area over here? They're totally different looks. So you don't have to add it if you don't want to, but if you want something to feel a little bit more weathered, you can. So I'm going to come back. Look how my wrist is constantly turning. It's very, very soft. You can always add more dark wax, but if you put on too much and you're coming back and you're like, oh, it's too dark, I don't like it. So I'm going to put just a little bit on because I want you to see it. There again, if you're just now tuning in, this is a Maker Studio. We are all about crafting a beautiful life, but we do have a special feature this week of a sale that we have going on that if you've never bought any of our products, if you're not familiar with us, you need to talk to the maker where you saw it and we have an incredible sale this week where you get both the waxes, the paint, the cleaner, 2 wax brushes, and the wedge brush. So you want to make sure that you can enjoy the bragging rights from it to be able to redo a piece of furniture. So I'm going to let that wax dry for probably an hour or so, and then I'll come back with a lint-free rag, and then I'm going to buff it. If I got too much dark wax on, I want to make sure that I come back before it all kind of sets in and buff it. But that way, once it dries, I can put a little bit more pressure in it like this and buff it so it has a beautiful, easy, cleanable sheen. I did want to show you really quickly the little piece over here that we painted that drawer goes to. So when my drawer dries, I'm going to come back, I'm going to clean up that adorable little hardware piece so the brass will really pop. You know, and the fun thing, what I was amiss to tell you was the fact that I think it would be really cute to use our stencil on the side and do a French script or a little pattern, or especially inside the drawer. You could even come back and stripe out this edge. We even have some gilding supplies. You could come back and you could gild this. You could gild the tip of it. You can do it in a darker color. You could even use one of our stencils and do the top of this. It could just be adorable. It really is fun to be able to find pieces like this. I think that little table was $30, am I right? Like 20, was it 20 or $30? So the whole idea of being able to make things, be able to use your hands, be able to go shopping in your attic, or to find pieces that you would normally throw away and be able to use easy, simple products like this to make your life more beautiful. That's what we're all about here at A Maker Studio. So I hope this was informative. I hope it went through and it showed you how to use the products. The sale is only going to be available for 4 days this week. It's your opportunity to try us out, and we want you to be part of A Maker Studio. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.